You know, for decades, we've been sold a story about fat. We've been told that animal fat is the bad guy, the villain in our health story, and that those clear, plant-based vegetable oils are the heroes. But what if I told you that entire story might be completely, totally backwards? Today, we're going to dig into some really compelling ideas suggesting that the very cooking oils we've been told are healthy could actually be the main driver of inflammation in our bodies. Okay, let's do a little thought experiment. Just picture your kitchen pantry right now. Go ahead, open that cupboard door in your mind. I'm willing to bet you'll see a few of those big, clear plastic bottles of vegetable oil, right? It's just a staple in most homes. But here's the kicker. What most of us have no idea about is that these super common oils might be quietly contributing to inflammation every single time we cook a meal. And here they are, the usual suspects. We're talking soybean oil, corn oil, canola, grapeseed, and sunflower oil. I mean, these guys are everywhere. You'll find them in just about every processed food, from salad dressings to crackers, and they're the go-to in almost every single restaurant. We've been told for so long that these are the heart-healthy choice. Well, today, we're going to challenge that idea head-on and explore why they might be the exact opposite. So what is the core problem here? What's the big deal? Well, it really all starts with how these oils are even made. See, you can't just take a corn kernel or a soybean and squeeze it to get oil. It just doesn't work that way. This isn't really a natural food. It's an industrial product. And it goes through a really harsh, really damaging manufacturing process long before it ever lands on a supermarket shelf. The journey these oils take from a tiny seed to that clear bottle is, well, it's pretty brutal and far from natural. It's a full-on industrial process. We're talking incredibly high heat, chemical solvents like hexane, which is a component of gasoline, by the way, to actually rip the oil out. Then, to make them look clean and not smell rancid, they're industrially bleached and deodorized. This whole harsh process means that by the time the oil is bottled, it's often already unstable, fragile, and damaged goods. And that word, damaged, that leads us straight to a concept called oxidation. So what is it? Honestly, the best way to think about it is like rust. You know how a piece of metal rusts when it's exposed to the elements? Well, when these unstable, damaged oils get inside your body, they cause something called oxidative stress. And that is literally the biological equivalent of your cells rusting from the inside out. And that cellular rust, it's a major root cause of chronic disease. Okay, so let's get to the heart of the matter. The real problem is a massive, overwhelming flood of something called omega-6 fatty acids. Now, don't get me wrong, our bodies need a little bit of omega-6, but these oils, they deliver an absolute tidal wave of it. And in those huge amounts, omega-6 basically acts like a constant inflammation alarm, screaming at your body to be inflamed 24/7. Over time, this can lead to hardened cell membranes. It can damage the little energy factories in our cells called mitochondria. And what does that feel like? Well, it feels like chronic fatigue, metabolic problems, and that stubborn weight that just won't seem to budge. All right, so if we're kicking these seed oils to the curb, what on earth should we be using instead? The answer might actually surprise you, because we're talking about a return to good old-fashioned animal fats. Yep, these are the exact same fats our grandparents and our ancestors cooked with for generations. A stable, clean-burning fuel that our bodies are actually designed to thrive on. Now, I know, this statement right here, it goes against pretty much every piece of dietary advice we've heard for the last 50 years. But the science is becoming incredibly clear on this. The fat on your meat is not the enemy. It's actually a vital source of clean energy and critical nutrients. Trimming it all off and throwing it away means you could be tossing out the most nutritious part of the food. Okay, let's look at the why. Here's the key difference on a molecular level. Animal fats are mostly saturated. That just means their structure is really stable and robust, kind of like a strong brick wall. This lets them handle heat without falling apart and oxidizing. Seed oils, on the other hand, are polyunsaturated. Their structure is fragile, it's unstable, like a house of cards. And when you heat them up, they break down really easily, and that creates the cellular rust we just talked about. One is a stable, reliable fuel, the other is a highly reactive mess. And why does this matter so much? Well, here's a mind-blowing fact for you. Your body is built from fat. And get this. Your brain is 60% fat. Let that sink in. Every single one of your cell membranes, your most important hormones, they are all built from the fats you eat. So doesn't it just make sense to build these incredibly vital parts of you out of the most stable, highest quality materials you can find? Now, this doesn't mean that every single plant-based oil is bad for you. Not at all. There are a couple of really important exceptions to this rule, and they get a pass for some very specific and very good reasons. Olive oil and avocado oil are basically the two champions of the plant oil world, and here's why they're different. First, they come from the flesh of the fruit, not the seed. This means they can be extracted with simple pressing, not with those harsh chemicals and high heat. And more importantly, they are low in that inflammatory omega-6 and instead are rich in a very stable anti-inflammatory fat called omega-9. Okay, let's bring this all home and get super practical. Knowing everything we've just talked about, how do you actually apply it in your own kitchen? Here is a dead simple guide for choosing the right fat for the right job. Following this can make a huge difference in maximizing your health and minimizing that cellular damage. It's really simple. For things with no heat, like making a salad dressing or drizzling over veggies, extra virgin olive oil is absolutely perfect. For low to medium heat, like gently sautéing some onions, butter, ghee, or even olive oil, still work great. But, and this is a big but, when the heat gets high, when you're searing a steak or frying something up, you have to use a stable fat. That means animal fats like lard and tallow are your best friends, along with ghee and avocado oil. And notice, even olive oil isn't great for high heat cooking because it can start to break down. And those seed oils, just avoid them for everything. So we're going to end on one of the most powerful, if a little counterintuitive truths in all of nutrition. To help your body burn its own stored fat for energy, you need to fuel it with high-quality, stable fats. It's really all about changing your body's primary fuel source, away from those inflammatory oils and toward clean-burning energy. And when you make that switch, believe me, absolutely everything can change for the better. So the only question left is, what's for dinner tonight? Maybe it's time to bring back the butter.